Hey guys, today we're going to be sharing with you our top 3 formations in FIFA 23. So if you want to know what the best 3 formations are in our opinion, then you need to see this video. So as always, to show your support, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications bells so that you know exactly when we release new content. So going into the first formation, we think the 5-2-1-2 is definitely one of the best formations in the game. We know a lot of people like this 5-1-2-2 formation. We just prefer the 5-2-1-2 because we prefer to have the cam rather than the extra midfielder in there. Now moving into the tactics for this 5-2-1-2, this is what we decided on. We went for balanced on the defensive style. A lot of people we played in Weekend League played on a press, but I think in this formation a balanced is a must. We like the narrow width because obviously for us it's more important to have the middle of the pitch on lockdown instead. In terms of the depth, we're going for 65 because we feel like this is a formation that you can really get up the pitch in, but you definitely are able to get back into position quite well, so we can afford to play a slightly higher depth. Build-up play, we went for slow build-up. We feel this is really strong for this formation. It's very easy to play in that regard, but then pairing that with the direct passing makes this formation really great and just a lot of fun offensively. And that was one of the things that we struggled with early on, was offensively we struggled creating chances at the start of the year, but moving with this with the 5-back formation, it is so impressive. And then in terms of the width, we've gone for 75, and that's because we have the fullbacks going forwards a lot. So that's really important that you maintain that width and really stretch people out offensively, but we have players covering for when those fullbacks get forwards. And then in terms of players in the box, we went for 5, corners on 3, and free kicks on 1. And then when it came to the instructions, we have the goalkeeper on comes to crosses and sweep keeper, as we always do. And then those fullbacks, we actually have them on join the attack, and we want them on overlap. And the reason why we want them on overlap is just so they always stay wide and join the attack, because we actually found that balanced, they didn't get us forward as much as we wanted. And this is a formation where the wing backs really are the only things that provide the width. So you really have to have them on join the attack. Now, if you are someone that is concerned about having space in behind, then we do recommend having them on balance. But for us, we are confident in our defending ability, so we like to have them on join the attack, and it made it so fun and so impressive attacking. So we really feel like this is the way to go if you want to get the most out of this formation offensively. But if you want a bit more balanced, please keep them on balanced. In terms of the 2 central midfielders, we had them both on stay on edge of the box and stay back while attacking. It's really important that both of these guys do stay back and aren't going forwards, because when the fullbacks are on join the attack, you can't have the fullbacks on anything but balanced. Otherwise, you are going to be left far too open. So when these guys were on stay back while attacking, we found it actually really easy to defend. We never really had too much issue with conceding chances. In terms of the central cam, we've just got him on get into the box. And in terms of the 2 strikers, both of those guys are going to be on stay central and get behind. All these 3 guys need to link up really, really well. And then the width is provided by the wing backs. So that's what allows them to stay in the middle of the pitch. We found this 5-2-1-2. We love this formation. I had so much fun with it this weekend league, and it is just a brilliant formation. Next up, we have got the 4-2-2-2. I absolutely love this formation. We've used it from the very beginning, and it's stayed in my tactic ring since the start of the game. I just think it's a formation I'm really comfortable in, and I just find that it's really effective, especially for people that like to dominate the game with possession and high passing. In terms of the tactics, we have done a 4-2-2 in-depth video, and this is just a little bit of a variation on that. We've gone for chance creation, we've gone for direct passing. Just we found that when this was on possession, we didn't have enough players making runs in behind. And when we changed this to direct passing, this changed everything for us. It made us so much better offensively. We didn't have so much issue. We got to the edge of the box quite a lot, and we found that we were sort of stuttering attacks. And when we had this on direct passing, strikers were making good runs in behind, and just with the amount of space we was able to create with this formation, with just how this formation is set up, we found it really easy to cut through people at ease. A few of the keys from this formation, we've got the width on 65. Before we had it on around about 55. We've just widened it up a little bit, because what we found, especially with the attacking cams, we found that everything was a bit too narrow. With that and possession, it just kind of stifled it offensively a little bit. Now we've added direct passing, we've added the width a little bit, just made it a little bit wider, and now those wide cams do play a little bit wider, and it just allows a little bit more fluidity when we're attacking, and it's not so predictable because the middle of the pitch isn't the only way we can attack. And then quickly running through the instructions, of course, we have the keeper on the same. It is the same for all formations. The fullbacks were actually changed to stay back while attacking, and that was really important. We found early on when we had these guys on balance, it did leave us a little bit too exposed, especially when we have direct passing on. in this formation. So you do need to have the fullbacks on stay back. The two midfielders we had on cut passing lanes, you can have them now on balanced attack, and this actually made it a little bit better for us. If you want, you can have one of those guys on stay back while attacking and the other one on balanced. That might be better, but in this occasion, because of who we have in defensive midfield, we do need to have them both on stay back. If you have someone that's a little bit more attacking, one of them can play the balanced role, one can play stay back. That is fine. And then in terms of those two attacking cams, we have them both on comeback on defense. That is definitely very important, because one thing that we found this week, especially whilst you've got a bit of an inferior team, which we personally do, we did have a little bit too much space open. If you've got a very good team, you can leave these guys on balance and just have them on get into the box. We decided to turn the free roam off. Now, normally the free roam is really effective for us in previous FIFAs, but this year so far, it hasn't been as effective. And one thing that we found was the attacking cams come very, very narrow. They don't actually maintain their width. They don't mix it up. It was just everything was narrow, narrow, narrow. And once we've had this and changed it back to stick to position, we have been so much better offensively. So just with a few tweaks on this formation compared to what we had with our 4-2-2 video, and it has allowed this formation to really prosper. And obviously the two strikers, one of them on false 9 and one of them on getting behind, and it has just allowed for this formation to flourish, and it is now one of the best formations in the game. Now, before we continue, if you want us to make more videos like this, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and make sure you comment below right now with your questions and thoughts on what other formation videos or videos in general you'd like us to cover going forwards, as we always read the comments to decide what videos to make going forwards. So let's get back into our third formation that we think is the best in FIFA 23. And then last but not least, we have the 4-3-3-5 with the false 9. And this might be a little bit of a surprise to some people, but there are a lot of other great formations in the game, and everyone's going to have their opinions on what they think is best. But for our playstyle, this formation works super, super well. In terms of the tactics, these are the tactics that we use when we go for the 4-3-3-5. A lot of our formations now, we've gone for quite high depth, around 65. We found that a lot of people play quite high depth against us, and it was very, very effective. And when we tried this out ourselves and we went for higher depth and we went on around about 65, we just had a lot more success. We was playing a lot on around about 50 to 55, and we was just a little bit too deep and was just struggling to create chances. Moved it up to around 65, and now we're able to dominate the game even more and create so many more chances. And in terms of the build-up play, fast build-up works super well for this formation because the players are really close together, especially that sort of DM 2 centre midfielders and the false 9. Those guys are super important because they actually create and score predominantly all of your chances. So these guys being on fast build-up really made it very effective, especially for people like myself that like to play a lot of high possession, high passing game. It is really, really effective to have these guys on fast build up. We did as well have 70 width, and that's really important because you need the wingers to stay wide. One of the problems, as I said in the last formation that we've had this year, is when the wide players come narrow, you are so predictable and it is so easy to read. When you have that width, it's really unpredictable because players don't know whether to cover the winger or whether to cover the midfielder, and it just gives you that extra little half a second that you need to be able to pick the correct ball. And then in terms of players on the box, as always, we've got 6, 3, and 1. This is the same for all of our formations, as you know. And then in terms of the instructions, as we said, the keeper is on the same. The fullbacks, we have them on stay back again in this formation. When we have wingers, we don't need these guys going forwards, especially when we're using something like fast build-up. Especially when we're using something like fast build-up, it can really hinder if you have the fullbacks going forwards on balance. You just have then too many players out of position. So these guys being on stay back just gives us that solid foundation to work off. And then moving into the central defensive midfielder, we've actually got him on drop between defenders. This is really, really effective, especially if you're someone that likes to drag out your defenders. If you have this guy, when you're attacking, your defense becomes a back 5, and then you can pull out your midfielder without pulling out any of your centre backs. It allows them to stay in position a lot better, and it allows for less mistakes to be made. So that is really important, and it's really overpowered, especially when you have one central defensive midfielder on his own. In terms of the two central midfielders, they are on basic. They're just, everything is default except for the defensive position, which is on cover centre. These guys are proper box-to-box midfielders, and they do get a lot of chances to score goals. So you have to make sure these guys are confident with shooting, because these guys actually get a lot more chances than we initially thought. So it's really important you have guys that are confident with finishing and also good at passing as well, because they do create a lot of chances too. These two midfielders are very important. In terms of the false 9, we want him on stay central, but we're going to leave his attacking runs on mixed. Because he's a false 9, we do need him to kind of play a little bit of a false 9 role, but I don't want him to play a permanent false 9 role, because then he's always dropping in behind. And you need to have players running in behind in this game. You need to have a mixture of players running in behind and some players coming short. So he needs to be on mixed attack in this occasion. And then in terms of the wingers, we have these guys just on balanced width. Again, as we said before, you need to have that balanced width. You need to have some width in your formation. Otherwise, it can become quite predictable to play against. So these guys, it makes sure they stay out wide, especially with that 70 width that we have. Getting behind, as we alluded to, you need to have players running in behind, especially in wingers. You need to have pace. And then getting into the box, pretty standard for that formation. But we absolutely love this 4-3-3-5 formation. It was super effective. It's great for people that like to play fast but do like to dominate games as well. You just obviously can tweak a few things if you feel like they're not quite working for you. But they are, for us, the best 3 formations in the game right now. They are our favorite 3 formations, and they're the 3 formations that we used this weekend league, and we managed to get 18-2, which is absolutely crazy for us. So we're very, very happy with that, using a combination of all 3 of these formations. Now, as we said earlier in the video, if you want us to continue to make more detailed formation videos like this one, then we do need your support. So make sure that you smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications bells. And also make sure you go and follow our Twitter and our TikTok if you want to see any of the FIFA content from us that will be posted there. And if you want to ask us any questions, make sure you join our Discord down below. The links to everything is down in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.